This is John Daly at the State House in Philadelphia. A powerful opponent of the Declaration of Independence has emerged here on this fourth evening of July 1776. An opponent strong enough to rally the latent opposition to separation from the mother country. Mr. John Dickinson, Pennsylvania's leading delegate to the Continental Congress, has just told reporters that he intends to speak on the floor before the final vote is taken. This in a supreme effort to block this declaration, which would commit our 13 colonies to revolutionary war with England. Mr. Dickinson agreed that he is staking his political future on the outcome of the vote. He anticipates that if he fails to block passage of the Declaration of Independence, he will be ejected from the Congress and be
July 4th, 1776, the State House in Philadelphia. You are there.
John Dickinson, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson. CBS takes you back to the evening when the colonial leaders fought their showdown battle on the issue of independence from England, with the fate of the continent hanging in the balance. All things are as they were then, except for one thing. When CBS is there,
You are there.
You Are There is based on authentic historical fact and quotation. And now,
July 4th, 1776, the Philadelphia State House and John Daly.
Dining during the recess, which is now officially over. We hurried from the inn to this microphone here on the floor of the Congress to bring you this news. Mr. Dickinson has not arrived yet. He should be along at any minute, but meanwhile, the news has preceded him, and it's having an explosive effect on the delegates who are present. As a matter of fact, the weather isn't helping things either. It's very hot here in Philadelphia tonight, and in their heavy waistcoats, ruffles, and wigs, the delegates in the hall are perspiring profusely. Even more irritating are the horse flies from a nearby stable which come in through the open windows. These flies are nasty, so much so that Mr. Thomas Jefferson of Virginia, the author of the Declaration, has said that it is not at all unlikely that this debate will be ended not by sharp logic of the delegates, but by the even sharper bite of the horseflies. Major George Fielding Eliot has been talking to the delegates and is now ready with his analysis of the possibilities inherent in Mr. Dickinson's announcement. So I switch you now to our CBS headquarters booth here in the Congress. Come in, Major Eliot.
Mr. Dickinson's views carry great weight here. His announcement, therefore, comes as a shock to those delegates who want the Declaration of Independence passed. Mr. John Adams, from the Massachusetts Bay Colony, leader of the Independence Party, had hoped the Declaration would go through unanimously, but that's no longer possible. Indeed, the Declaration may not even pass. Mr. Adams and Mr. Dickinson personify the present political conflict. Mr. Adams is the son of a Massachusetts lawyer. He was educated for the law in New England. He agrees with the men who dumped the East India Company's tea into Boston Harbor. Although Mr. Adams prides himself on being a plain man, the delegates regard him as arrogant and intolerant of all who differ with his views. Mr. Dickinson, on the other hand, was born to wealth. He received his education at London's Middle Temple. He has a mild, amiable, sincere manner. He opposes independence because of his conviction that all political injustices can be righted by legal methods without recourse to violence or revolution. Just a moment. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson have entered the hall. So, back to John Daly.
Mr. Jefferson! Mr. Jefferson!
Yes?
Mr. Jefferson, you've heard the news that Mr. Dickinson will speak against independence. May we have your comment?
I have the greatest respect for Mr. Dickinson's courage and integrity. Mr. Adams and I wish we could say as much for his political judgment.
This Congress, sir, is in no mood for any more of Mr. Dickinson's temporizing. In the course of this debate, the delegates have learned to know Mr. Dickinson for what he is. A spineless aristocrat at best, at worst, an agent of the enemy.
Well, Mr. Adams, we're very glad to have your comment also. Are you accusing Mr. Dickinson of being in the pay of the British?
I hardly think Mr. Adams
If you
intended
please, Mr.
any...
Jefferson. Sir, Mr. Dickinson has consistently sabotaged the work of this body by fallacious appeals to reason and by parliamentary devices, but no more of that. The Declaration of Independence will be put to a vote as soon as President Hancock arrives and calls this meeting to order. And I am confident that the gentleman will be unable to sway the Congress from the course on which it is now well launched. Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Adams and Mr. Jefferson. The delegates are taking their seats. And as you must have gathered from Mr. Adams' remarks, the long smoldering enmity between him and Mr. Dickinson has finally flared out into the open. The debate, when he and Dickinson clash on the floor, promises to be more violent than any this Congress has heard in the 2 years since it's been in existence. Mr. Dickinson has just entered the hall, and he has to pass our microphone. He's coming this way now. Mr. Dickinson, sir.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Dickinson. Mr. John Adams has just called you an agent of the enemy, Mr. Dickinson. Would you care to
Mr.
make...
Adams considers anyone who differs with him to be an agent of the enemy. But I cannot allow myself to be silenced by insults. The question is, shall our colonies declare themselves independent of the mother country? And on this question, my opponents have been utterly dishonest.
Will you explain that, Mr. Dickinson?
Certainly will. 11 times in the past 2 years, Congress pledged itself not to seek independence. In January of this year, only 6 months ago, the Congress passed a most solemn declaration to the effect that we Americans have no thought of setting up an independent nation. And now, tonight, Mr. Adams asks us to break our pledged word. Nay, he demands it.
But if the people favor independence, Mr. Dickinson,
Mr. Adams has confused the people. He has engineered coups d'etats in the provincial legislatures in order to pack this Congress with delegates favoring independence. He has organized gangs of hoodlums to roam the streets of the cities and towns, attacking those who oppose revolution.
But isn't it true, Mr. Dickinson, that at least 50% of the population favors independence?
Is it right for one half of the population to impose its views on the other half by terror? Can these colonies hope to achieve victory in a revolutionary war when half of the people oppose it? I predict that if the Congress passes the Declaration of Independence, the result will be civil war, useless bloodshed, and ruinous defeat. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dickinson. The delegate from Pennsylvania is walking to his seat now. Mr. John Hancock, the president of the Congress, has entered the chamber, but it will very probably be a few moments yet before he calls the Congress to order. Mr. Dickinson said that a considerable portion of the people are opposed to independence. Well, Ken Roberts is outside the State House, where a representative crowd of Philadelphians are awaiting the result of the vote. So let's find out what they think about independence. Go ahead, Ken Roberts.
With me at our CBS microphone is Mrs. Agnes Hatcher, who lives on Water Street. Mrs. Hatcher, do you favor separation from England?
I hate separation. My husband was killed fighting for separation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's John Adams that should be sorry, and Mr. Jefferson. Why don't they make peace and end this killing?
But, Mrs. Hatcher, would you want peace at any price?
Will you tell me why my husband should die at Boston fighting the Bay Colonies battles? If the men of New England have a quarrel with the British, let them do the fighting and dying themselves.
But Mr. Adams and Mr. Jefferson say they want freedom for all the colonies.
I don't care about freedom. My husband is dead.
Thank you, Mrs. Hatcher. Now, here beside me is Mr. Richard Caswell, an importer in Philadelphia. I forgot to ask you, Mr. Caswell, what do you import?
The finest of English woolens, sir. The very finest.
I see. And do you favor independence? Excuse me, Mr. Caswell. A dispatch rider has just ridden up to the State House. His horse is lathered and covered with dust and sweat. It looks as if he's been ridden long and hard. Where are you from, soldier?
New York. General Washington's headquarters.
What's the news there? What's happening?
Plenty of excitement.
Wait a minute. What's going on? The rider has gone into the State House. Whatever the news is, our reporters inside will bring it to you as soon as it's released. I'm sorry about that interruption, Mr. Caswell.
Quite all right, quite all right.
You were about to tell me whether you favored independence.
It's an illusion, sir. Independent from what? How can we be independent? We're Englishmen, my family's English, they're all in England. Or my trade, my business is with England. Look at my books, you see. This talk about separation is ridiculous. Worse than ridiculous. It's vicious. It's ruining me. Ever since this war started, no shipments. Percentages, 76% less business than my firm did in 75.
But, Mr. Caswell, isn't it argued that if the colonies were independent, American businessmen could then trade with the entire world?
Who wants to trade with the entire world? What do we need the world for? Everything we can produce, we can sell in England. And everything that we need, we can buy from England. It's just common sense, that's all. How do you suppose the colonies have grown prosperous and strong and important? protected trade with England. Protected trade.
Yes, but what about the heavy taxes that the mother country has imposed? What about taxation without representation?
Bad, very bad. But independence? Worse, much worse. Terrible. What about Pitt and Burke in Parliament? We have friends in England. They're trying to settle this thing intelligently, without violence, without bloodshed. But Mr. Adams and Jefferson, those wild men in there, hotheads, radicals, that's what they are. They want to get power, that's all, power. That's all they're interested in, power.
Well, Mr. Caswell, independence is
Independence, the worst second. Listen to him. We've already become independent of principle and gratitude to the mother country.
What's he saying?
And if this war is permitted to continue, we shall become independent of cash, clothing, laws, liberty, and... Yes, life itself. What are you talking about? You're a liar, that's what you are, mister. You're a Tory. A Tory. The truth. It may not be popular, but it's the truth.
Shut up, you Tory, or we'll teach you a lesson.
I'm not afraid of you. Listen, close your mouth.
Mr. Caswell has just been struck by some man who's been heckling him. The crowd here is manhandling Mr. Caswell. The men are flailing at him with their fists. They must be members of the Sons of Liberty. The women are tearing at Mr. Caswell's clothes, spitting at him. This crowd is going wild, and it's frightening. Mr. Caswell has been knocked to the ground. I can't see him, but I can hear his cries. The men are bending over him, swinging their fists, pounding.
This is John Daly inside the Continental Congress. We have interrupted Ken Roberts because President Hancock has just called the Congress to order. He's about to read the dispatch which has just arrived from General Washington's headquarters in New York. President Hancock.
This is the information contained in General Washington's dispatch. The news is grim indeed. A great British fleet is at this moment in New York Harbor. British Marines have seized Staten Island in the harbor, and redcoats are landing there by the thousands. General Washington advises that a British attack on New York City must be expected momentarily. The enemy appears to have overwhelming superiority in numbers and equipment. General Washington concludes with a statement that it may be impossible to defend New York City with the slender forces at his command. Gentlemen, the Congress will recess for 5 minutes.
The Congress has again recessed. The sound of President Hancock's gavel has released a torrent of excitement and confusion bordering virtually on panic. The delegates have risen from their seats. They are moving about the floor, talking to each other in loud voices, often shouting in their arguments. Mr. John Adams and Mr. Thomas Jefferson have rushed up to the chair. Mr. Adams is pale, agitated. Only Mr. Dickinson, of all the delegates here in the chamber, has remained seated. Mr. Rutledge. Just a moment, sir. Here's Mr. Edward Rutledge, a delegate from South Carolina. Sir, what effect do you think the news of the British arrival will have on the independence vote?
It cannot fail to have a profound effect. It will add force and logic to Mr. Dickinson's position.
Thank you, Mr. Rutledge. Mr. Rutledge is one of Mr. Dickinson's supporters. Here is Mr. Elbridge Gerry, a delegate from the Massachusetts Bay Colony and an independence man. Mr. Gerry, what do you think of the announcement, sir?
Frankly, I don't know what to think. Mr. Dickinson may well argue now that the Declaration of Independence may not be worth the paper it's written on. But we must keep our head. We must stand firm.
Thank you, Mr. Gerry. Major Elliott has more news from New York, so let's switch to him in our CBS headquarters booth. Come in, Major Elliott.
We now know that the British fleet numbers 130 vessels. The troops on board are commanded by General Sir William Howe, one of England's ablest generals. The appearance of the fleet has thrown New York into disorderly confusion, and the legislature has withdrawn for safety to White Plains, 35 miles away. Our New York newsroom informs us that a short while ago, CBS correspondent Ned Kelmer passed through the British lines on Staten Island under safe conduct to interview the British commander-in-chief. He made a tape recording of this interview that our New York newsroom will play for you now.
This is the kitchen of a Staten Island farmhouse which now serves as General Howe's headquarters. A regiment of redcoats is on parade outside, marching to the music of a British military band. I can see them through an open window from where I'm standing. In their tight-fitting scarlet coats and long gaiters, these trim soldiers in perfect step to the music look like the veteran fighting men that they are. General Howe, sir, will you tell us how many such troops you have at your disposal?
14,000 on this island, and an additional 13,000 under General Carleton on their way across Lake Champlain in upper New York.
You don't mind giving General Washington this information?
What? Not at all, not at all.
Frankly, I doubt very much that it will make any difference if Washington knows it.
I take it then, General Howe, that you're completely confident of victory.
Naturally. Those men you see out there, they are the conquerors of France and Spain. They are the finest troops in the world. They'll crush Washington's colonial militiamen at the very first encounter, utterly. But Washington, poor fellow, he's leading nothing but a rabble. They lack powder, guns. His officers are without experience. Washington himself is hardly what you might call, shall we say, a professional military man.
General Washington, sir, made quite a good showing in the war against the French.
Under English commanders, Mr. Calmer.
Chalmers.
Under English commanders. Mr. Calmer?
Chalmers. General Howe, you know, of course, that the Continental Congress is about to vote on independence from England. Would you care to comment on that, sir?
Yes, I would like to say something to that. I would like to say it as a friend and not as a soldier. I repeat, as a friend, because I think I have amply demonstrated my friendship for British America in the past, by word and deed.
Yes, if I recall correctly, General Howe, you once stated publicly that you would never lead British troops against British America.
Well, of course, but the situation has changed. The colonies are now being led by a pack of extremists. This rebellion by the mob must be crushed, and I have the forces with which to crush it. The greatest fleet and the most powerful force of soldiers ever assembled on American soil. I hope with all my heart that it will not be necessary to throw this array of military power into action. I pray that the counsel of the extremists will be rejected by the Continental Congress and that the advice of saner, more moderate men will prevail.
Thank you, General Howe.
This is George Fielding Elliott in Philadelphia. The interview you have just heard was a tape recording made by Ned Chalmer at British headquarters on Staten Island. The recess here in the Continental Congress continues. The delegates are confused, shaken. Mr. Adams, Mr. Jefferson, and Mr. Benjamin Franklin, the leaders of the Independent Party, are doing all they can to counteract the doubt and hesitation inspired by the news from New York. They are trying desperately to maintain their strength, to keep their pledged votes in line, and they are insisting that the final vote be taken tonight without regard for the situation in New York. On the other hand, a group of less militant delegates is urging postponement until we have more definite information from General Washington's headquarters. The Commander-in-Chief said in his dispatch that he fears that he may not be able to hold New York. The cautious delegates want to know for sure whether he will fight or surrender the city without a struggle. Our CBS correspondent, Bud Collier, is now at General Washington's headquarters. He may have some last-minute information. Therefore, we take you now to General Washington's headquarters in New York. Bud Collier reporting.
I'm waiting here on the parade ground before General Washington's headquarters. The Commander-in-Chief has promised to answer my question as soon as he comes out to address his troops, presumably to make some formal statement about the news of the British arrival. The bugles are blowing assembly. The men of the regiments are running to join their formations. I can see the flag of the 1st Massachusetts, I believe it is, the Virginia Rifles, the 5th Connecticut, and many others. But in all this mass of thousands of men, I see very few men in uniform. Most of the troops are dressed in civilian homespun, and quite a few of them wear the fringed leather shirts which mark them as frontiersmen. General Washington has still not come out on the parade ground. Oh, here's a militiaman coming by. Soldier! Soldier!
Let me go. I got called.
Oh, just a few questions. You got plenty of time. What's your name, son?
Tom Summers. Look, let me go, will you, mister? The sergeant will give me all...
That's all right. I'll fix it with General Washington for you. How old are you, Tom?
17.
Uh-huh. Ever seen any action against the British?
No, not yet.
Well, you'll probably see action soon right here in New York.
Well, I ain't afraid, if that's what you mean.
How long have you been in the Army, Tom?
2 months. Look, please, mister, ask me all your questions at once.
All right, Tom, sure. How long are you in for?
Well, I'm going back home next month. That's when my 3 months are up.
Oh?
My pa enlisted me. He wanted to make himself $10.
I see.
Well, he got his $10, and I'm going home next month.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there ain't nothing wrong with that, you know.
No.
Some fellas enlisted for the money and then deserted without even serving their 3 months.
Well, yes, but what about independence, Tom? How do you feel about independence?
Well, I don't know nothing about that, honest, mister. Oh, there's the general. I gotta go.
General Washington is approaching the microphone. He wears his full-dress uniform. His sword flaps against the side of his leg as he walks. General Washington, are you going to fight for New York?
It is a difficult question. Frankly, I haven't made up my mind.
If you elect to fight, General Washington, do you think you will be able to defend New York successfully?
I will do my best, and God willing, we shall be successful. In any event, I would like to say to all the people, do not yield to panic.
But, General, in view of the current situation, do you think the Declaration of Independence should be passed at this time?
That must be decided by the Congress in Philadelphia.
Thank you, General Washington. Commander-in-Chief is walking away across the field now, his shoulders slightly bent, his jaw thrust forward in the manner of a man who bears an enormous responsibility for which he is ill-prepared. This is Bud Collier in New York. I return you now to the Continental Congress in Philadelphia.
This is John Daly at the Continental Congress in Philadelphia. This is the long-awaited climax of the debate on the Declaration of Independence. The Congress has reconvened, and because Mr. Dickinson asked to speak against the Declaration, Mr. Adams has also requested the floor. By agreement, the vote will take place when the two speakers have finished. Also, by agreement, before the session began, Mr. Adams is speaking first. He's exerting his utmost efforts to keep the votes pledged to independence from bolting to Mr. Dickinson. Will he succeed? Well, we'll only know when the vote is taken. And now let's listen to Mr. Adams.
By proclaiming a Declaration of Independence, gentlemen, this Congress will be giving official recognition to a fact which already exists, namely, that these colonies are actually, in fact, independent of England. Yet, some great brains counsel us to wait, to exercise caution. Do these cautious gentlemen plead for a postponement of a Declaration of Independence so that their Tory friends may have time to hatch plots and conspiracies against us? Gentlemen, to delay is to play into the hands of the enemy, defeating the cause for which so much blood has already been shed. There must be no further delay. The people are ready. The people wait for the Congress to lead them. The hour has struck. The Congress must proceed now to a vote, an affirmative vote, on the Declaration of Independence.
Mr. Adams has left the rostrum. Mr. Dickinson is coming up to speak. Dickinson's face is pale. His fists are clenched. He's clearly marshaling all of his strength for a supreme effort of oratory. He's waiting now for the Congress to come to order. Mr. Dickinson.
Mr. President, I accuse my opponents of cynicism. They cannot believe that these colonies will be able to endure as independent states. Their true goal is not independence. They exploit indignation against the mother country to further their own personal fortunes. Mr. President, my opponents make their appeal to the emotions. I make my appeal to intelligence and logic. Mr. President, British troops are on Staten Island in overwhelming force. They are about to attack New York. General Washington's task will be difficult at best, but a Declaration of Independence now will serve only to divide the people of New York and make the defense of that city hopeless. Pass the Declaration and you will set brother against brother, father against son. The colonies will become not only the scene of warfare with a mother country, but civil war as well. And in the bloody, senseless, fratricidal struggle, there is no possibility of success. Proclaim independence this evening, gentlemen, and you gain nothing. You merely invite the whirlwind of destruction. I urge you to vote against it. I beg, I plead, I beseech you, vote against independence.
Mr. Dickinson's plea has been received without applause. The delegates are calling the question, and there seems to be no objection. Oh, but wait a minute. Several of the delegates have risen. However, they're not going to ask for the floor. These delegates are leaving the hall. 4, 5. There go 3 more. Others are leaving also, and I can recognize some of them as men who have been openly undecided. Apparently, they're unwilling to vote, caught on the horns of a dilemma, swayed, no doubt, both by Mr. Adams and Mr. Dickinson. This is a great, a fearful moment of decision. Some of these men are apparently not capable of facing up to it. President Hancock.
Embodying the Declaration of Independence. The vote will be by colonies, each colony voting as a unit. A majority will decide. The clerk will call the roll.
12 votes will be cast. New York has decided to abstain. Thus, 7 votes will carry the issue.
New Hampshire, Mr. Josiah Bartlett.
New Hampshire votes unanimously for independence.
Massachusetts, Mr. John Adams.
The patriots of Massachusetts vote unanimously for independence.
Rhode Island, Mr. William Ellery.
Independence.
Connecticut, Mr. Roger Sherman.
Independence, unanimous.
New Jersey, the Reverend Dr. Witherspoon.
Mr. President, in my judgment, the country is not only ripe for independence, but is in danger of becoming rotten for want of it. New Jersey votes unanimously for independence.
Pennsylvania, Mr. Benjamin Franklin.
The majority of the delegation from Pennsylvania votes for separation from England, so help us God.
Delaware, Mr. Caesar Rodney.
Delaware votes unanimously for independence.
The Declaration of Independence is passed. Delaware has cast the deciding vote. There is no reaction from the delegates, and the voting continues. It will very probably be unanimous by colonies. Many of the individual delegates are shaking their heads. However, no matter what may be said against the Declaration, this document is impressive. It reads well. It begins, when in the course of human events, change is necessary, and then continues, and I quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness."
July 4th,
these rights,
1776. John Dickinson loses his fight to block the Declaration of Independence, and the 13 colonies go forward to establish the United States of America.
Check, testing, 1, 2, fuck it. Good morning, everyone. How are we today? 4th of July tomorrow. Tickety-tock, tickety-tock. Hey, good morning, Joey. How you doing? Baby. Working hard or hardly working? I know the answer. Cracking the whip. Doodly, man. So yesterday was a fantastic day. There were so many people here, I couldn't keep up with the comments. It was great. It was great. It was totally fantastic, man. Totally fantastic. It was excellent. Thank you much. Cool. I'm glad to hear you are good. Yeah. What did we do yesterday? We went shopping. About the evening time, about 5:30, 6 o'clock. We went out. You didn't work last night. Right. Did you hang out with Natalie? Did you play games? Did you do something? Did you relax? Natalie came in here last night all dressed up for her next outing. I don't even remember what she said it was. Man, that kid's a looker. She had her makeup done, and it was great. It was awesome. I totally was like, I remember those days. I remember when we used to get all gussied up. Yeah. Ooh. Goes to coffee. Coffee's a little excited this morning. I didn't either. we watched a couple of episodes of actually I think we watched one episode of that 90s show. And then we called it quits. My wife said later. So I stayed out here till about 11:30 dealing with channel stuff, uploading and whatnot. But I'm pretty good. I mean, right now, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and I want to say 15, 16 films, ed films, are uploaded for tomorrow. Starting, I think, at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Yeah, 3 in the morning, the first one pops. And then every hour or every half hour, another ed film having to do with America, the America that I remember. So we're gonna do that. I'm trying to get the air to work correctly. In other words, to cool me off but not freeze me. And it's a difficult balance. It's a difficult balance, man. Yeah. So today we are going to talk old stuff, vintage magazines and stuff like that. We'll just have to see what I can dig up. Because I got stuff everywhere. And it's not always easy to find it. Because I keep stuff kind of spread out. And it's hard to keep track of where everything is. I know I have this great old weird magazine. And I'm not exactly sure where the hell that went. Let me go take a look around the house. There we go. Oh. is. I can't find it. I must have put it in something somewhere. What are you gonna do, huh? What are you gonna do? Nothing. There you go. All right. I don't need to wear this. I don't need it. I don't need it. What do we got over here? What do we got? We got a bunch of yearbooks. Some old vintage books there. So, no, sell. All right, buy, but then sell. Yeah, baby. Let's see. Let me move my coffee. So tomorrow is going to be a really busy day. If everything goes as planned, I'm going to get on in the morning, and I'm going to stay on all day long, off and on. I'll be here, and then I'll put on a movie, an education film to watch, and then I'll go about my business here for a little while, and then come back and hang out, share some stuff, and then it's going to be like that all day. So far, my girls have not made any plans for Friday, so that I won't have to go out and do anything, or and if things stay that way, then Friday I'm going to be on all day. If things change, then of course I won't be. But we're going to try like hell to make this happen and do an all-day telethon. And that should be fun. I'm not trying to raise money. I'm not trying to do anything but raise awareness. That's it. And that's all. That's all, baby. Nothing fancy. Nothing crazy. You know, I'm not out to increase my budget or anything. I'm not out to, you know, I guess I'm out to reprogram the world, basically. Peace, love, understanding, caring, you know, that kind of stuff. Be nice to each other. So if I can get that point across to maybe change people's direction, a couple of people, anything, one person, if I could get to one person and turn them around and get them to see the error of their ways, so to speak, and just give up the hate, you know? It's like, what's the point? It takes so much energy to hate. It takes so little energy to just care, you know? It's just weird, man. It's just totally weird. So my shirt for today celebrates America. It is a Boston shirt. It says Boston on it. And it's got a bunch of the different things in Boston. Oh boy. Pardonnez-moi. Here's a better shot of it. The old church. Boston baked beans. The first U.S. Oh, the USS Constitution. The first USS Constitution ship. I like it. It's a 1979 original tourism shirt, basically. And I love it. Because it's blue and white, and it says Boston, and I'm a big Cheers fan, I'm a big Red Sox fan, I'm a big, well, I'm just a big fan of America. I'm a big fan of the world. I'm a big fan of people, humans. So it's all history to me. That's what it is. It's all history. People, places, things. It's all about the history in it. And you know what I'm missing? I'm missing a hat. Usually, I've got my, I was wearing my, what was my Cubs hat yesterday? Is that what, or Braves, or, what was the name of the team on, oh, I forgot the title again. Thanks, William. Major League. What was the name of that baseball team? Was it the Braves? Was it the Indians? Was it the Monkey Wrench? I don't know. Yeah. So, we went out yesterday because, well, we had to pay some bills and do some monthly shopping. Monthly shopping for me is like a case of Coke, a couple of cases of protein shakes, a 10-pack of tamales, you know, something, the bulk stuff, you know, multi-packs of cans of different foods that I eat. I'm kind of on a different diet than everyone else right now, but it's changing, and I'm starting to get back to where everybody else is at, eating-wise. Totally. So for those of you who were here yesterday, and for the first time and saw me with my hat on, now you know why I wear the hat, so I don't blind people with my shiny skull. Totally, man. At 18, I started to get a widow's peak. The East Coast Westman. That's funny. I thought it was the West Coast Eastmans. But you know, I can never get it right. I can get it left. Usually left on the ground. But I find it hard to get right. You know what I mean? So today, as I move this stuff around on my desk, we are going to talk vintage magazines and books and whatever else we can kind of dig into today. So there you go. So I'm just going to kind of move things around here on my desk so that I can squeeze on a book that we can look at. Let me see if I can adjust my Oh. There we go. Alright, I just adjusted my camera a little bit that it looks down on my desk so that we get a good shot of what it is we're looking at. I don't know why I have this song going through my head. Is it Bonnie Tyler? Turn around, every now and then I find a little bit long. I don't know why it's going through my head. Did I see a commercial? Bright eyes. Shut up. Hey, cheers, brother. What's going on, man? I'll drink to that. Good morning, sir. How are you today? Hey. Yeah, he goes by Joey. Joey! Call him Joey. That's my brother, Joey. William. Joey, William. Do we call you Bill? Do we call you Willie? Did we call you WW? Did we call you Eminem upside down? I don't know. What do we call you there, William? Yeah. Oh, about a couple of years ago now, maybe a year and a half ago, Joey found me on YouTube, and then a week and a half later found me at home from the East Coast. He came all the way over here and visited me. And he's been a regular fixture in my house ever since. Don't apologize to him. Don't apologize to that little punk. Call him JJ or something. Joey gets me. Joey gets me. He gives me a hard time because I'm a difficult guy to get along with. And it's awesome. So what do we call you, William? William is good with me. I go by Michael. So everybody used to call me Mike, and I used to hate it. And there are still people out there that still call me Mike. And of course everybody here is going to call me Mike now. But, you know, the older people that I've known for a long time who still call me Mike. Dub. WW. Cool. Yeah, dub sounds dum-dum. You want some gum dum-dum? WW sounds better to me. there are actually a couple of guys out at the open mic nights out here. One of them is DW, and one is CW, and that's, they could just go by their initials, right? DW, CW. I don't know DW. I don't know his name. All anybody knows are his initials. Nobody knows his name. It's hilarious. But I digress, and I do a bong hit because that's what I do. They're all deadheads. We're all deadheads, man, aren't we? At some point, we're just deadheads. Yeah. What the hell is he talking about now? My God, this guy just don't shut up. He just keeps going on and on and on, rambling. Yeah, I know them W's are definitely headsters. Totally, man. You can see it in their eyes, man. They got that 1,000-yard stare, man, that you only get from doing too much L. I don't have the shadow cast across my face from my hat, so I feel a little self-conscious. I'm doing a bong hit. I'm going in. Well, I got my box back here. This is my Throwback Thursday box. And we are going to dip into it here really quick. I'm going to grab a hat, though. I feel like I want a hat. I'll grab this. Now, this one's got a little bit of blue on it. So I'll take this one. So it'll kind of go with my outfit a little bit better. There, that's better. I like that. This is where my daughter is attending university right now. What do we got here? Yeah, nicknames are usually up to the nicknamee. No, the namer. I'm sorry, not the namee. The namee just usually has to go with it. All right. You want to call me Buttercup? That's fine. You're my boss. Call me Buttercup. I'm gonna quit if you call me Buttercup anymore. Fucker. Yeah, I used to get some weird nicknames, but I used to love to give nicknames. I'm more of a nicknamer than a nicknamee. Totally, man. I gotta do a little bit of nose maintenance here, man. It's all that cocaine that I've been doing, right? Yeah, I wish I was physically able to do cocaine, because if I was, I wouldn't do cocaine. I would just enjoy being physically able to. That would be nice. Alright, so I'm going to dig into this Throwback Thursday box really quick, and we are going to pull out the album of the day, which is a threefer. It is a 3-record set, and at least I think it's a 3-record set. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And this is from the Superstar Concert Series in California. Westwood One, the radio production company, who worked for a few radio stations, right? They had a few radio stations. Anyway, Westwood One Radio Networks presents Superstar Concert Series, all right? And this would have been recorded at a concert and then pressed and then immediately taken and played. Usually what they do is they take these and they play them simulcast on the radio. And this is an In Excess concert from September 3rd, 1988, sponsored by Coca-Cola and Sprite. And inside, if we go here, inside is the segment with the commercials, the song, out cue, so you know when to come in and start talking. And so it's got everything here that you need at the radio station to play this. Total segment times is 1 hour and 24 minutes with 5 local breaks. and this is cool. I'm not a real huge In Excess fan, but Sexy Joey. Mine was Charles Manson. That was my nickname. I got that in junior high. You know, that's just the way it is. If that's how people see you, that's how they see you. So I had no choice with that nickname. I had a hat, a black hat, and in gold lettering across it, it just said simply Ozzy, O-Z-Z-Y. So I also got the nickname Ozzy. And I was short. Well, I was fat and blonde hair, and so yeah, I'd let that one slide. I liked Charles Manson. The Charles Manson one I liked. Not that I was like a fan of Charles Manson, but if they wanted to see me as a psycho, who am I to let them down, you know? Yeah, see, I didn't know anything about In Excess, and it was only recently that I found out that you know, it had ups and downs, right? Because I remember In Excess being around, and then all of a sudden they weren't. Yeah. Totally, man. Yeah, nicknames. I've had some, you know, some nicknames. Never Tear Us Apart. I wonder if that's on here. Let's take a look at this set list thing here, because there's nothing on the records. The records, they're blank. They just have information number. They just have a CO88-22. That's all that's on there. And let's see what song we were talking. Never Tear Us Apart. 88. Maybe it's not on here. Unless it, you know, it just wasn't one of those hits. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is one of those things that fell into my record collection when I purchased a huge lot of records up the street, and it was just this older couple that in the 80s they had a record store, and they sold it in the 90s, and for a couple of years they would go out and do swap meets and stuff. Pardon my camera. They'd go out and do swap meets, and they'd haul these records out and set them up and then haul them back in. So I went to their house and went and told them, all right, well, I'll give you X amount of dollars for all of the records on the property, every piece of vinyl you have, and all of the record paraphernalia that goes with it. And I gave them a set price, and then I came back, took 8 loads, I think, in my Saturn to fill up the trunk, the back seat, and the passenger seat in my little Saturn, filled with vinyl. That car was so dead after that. And it was just, you know, like 10 miles up the road or something. And I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Brought all these things. And most of it was just 8 giant stacks of vinyl. But I also got, you know, 1,045s. A shitload, hundreds of 78s, and some excellent stuff to add to my collection, including this In Excess live. Just some fantastic music that I had no idea that I would ever own, right? And that's why every day I try to bring another album out and throw it out for y'all. I'll try to find this on YouTube and see if I can boot it up and stick it in the comments there. More than likely I won't find it, but I'll give it a whirl. Milton Berle. Doodly man. What else are we gonna do? Oh man, we got a lot to get through this morning. We should just get started. It's already 5:30. Yep. So another bong hit. Another bong hit, baby. Why? Because I can. And I think I'm going to actually go out today and get some more so that I'm good for the 4th of July and the weekend. I've been saving up this nice, just really gnarly bud for the 4th. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. There's my 4th of July bud. So that I'll be chewing on that all day. But I think I'm going to get something else so that I got a little variety. Usually I get a ½ ounce. I think lately I'm kind of branching out. And I'll do like a quarter of this and a quarter of that, so that I have a little bit of variety over that week. Because it don't take long for me to use up a ½ ounce. Lately, it's been actually less than a week, but 6 days I can go through a ½ ounce. And it's not like I'm consciously trying. I am actually consciously trying to smoke less, but it don't seem to work. It don't seem to work. My thing is, you know what? I would rather just smoke more than to just be in pain all the time. So that's where I'm at. Let's see. I have got a clear desk here with my elk tapestry on it, and I am going to bring down a magazine from my box. I went through stacks of books and magazines and crap, and settled on just a handful of stuff. So let's bring out front pages from the New York Times. Let's do that. I am going to have to move more stuff because this is a big, my Zippo. This is a big book. And I am really going to have to shoehorn it onto my desk here. My pens, my colored pens for doing my uploads. I have a color code system so that when I upload stuff, I know when it's uploaded, when it's being uploaded, how much time is on the upload, as far as how long the video is, when it's uploaded. I try to keep track of all the information so I can come back later and The Devil Inside. Yeah, I love that song. That is a Suicide Blonde. Yeah, that's another great one. Yeah, baby. I remember, man, when MTV came online, I was like, what? No matter where you went, MTV was on. And that was great because I hung out in the arcades, and every arcade had TVs everywhere with dun 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 dun. MTV just fucking blasted. It was great. It was great. I actually have in one of my digital files the first 4 hours of MTV Live, and it is a logistical nightmare. I mean, there are glitches, there's dead air, there's the camera looking at somebody's feet. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But it's the first 4 hours of MTV, August 1st, 1981. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, man. And I actually edited out all of the music to it. All of the music videos, I edited all the music videos out, so it's just the segments and commercials and stuff in between. And I'm thinking about uploading that, and I might do that August 1st this year. Upload that MTV Live, the very first 4 hours. Sans the music videos, because I can't do those. That's a copyright nightmare. Like, for sure. Okay, so I've got this book in front of me here. And let me try to get it straight so we can see as much of it as possible in the camera. And I will do that. And then I'm going to put me up here today, because I'm kind of out of the way there. Okay. Or maybe I'll go over here. I don't want to knock too many things off my desk. My secretary here is I don't want to knock her off. She's my secretary, and I don't want to knock her off of the desk. Okay, let me put you over. Let me put me over here. I shall like to be down at the bottom. Okay, so here's my front pages, headliners, Los Angeles Times, and oh man, I'm just humping the bunk here. There we go. There it is. So let's take a look at a couple of notable dates on here. First of all, let's go all the way to the back. And, oh, Challenger shuttle explodes. I was in high school. I was at a continuation high school when this happened. And we were watching it on TV. And I was devastated because I was a total space nut. I've always been a total space nut. And I was the co-editor below the English teacher in the school. She wouldn't let any of the kids, us seniors, she wouldn't let us have control of the newspaper. So I had to run everything by her. So she was, in essence, she was the editor. So I was the co-editor of the newspaper in the continuation high school. And I would write columns and I would write stories and short stories and stuff. And after this happened, I wrote a short story where my character was living in Florida with relatives and working with a relative at the Space Center, and was accidentally transported into space on the shuttle. But it wasn't the Challenger. The story was that the Challenger went up and blew up, but there was nobody on it because they needed the Challenger crew to do a secret mission, and they put them in the Columbia and sent them up under the cover of night where nobody could, and they actually did it another place so that people were looking at everybody was there for the Challenger thing, and when they were there doing that, the Columbia was getting blasted off over here, right? So the story was, before I knew anything about the Anastasia or the Nibiru or any of that shit, the story was that there was a rogue planet coming back into our area, into our solar system, and we needed to send the space shuttle out there to that planet before it got here so that we could find out what the hell was going on, because there we had a fifth column that had been on that planet for thousands of years, and we needed to get in touch with them and find out what was going on before they got here, and we needed to find out if we were going to war, basically. And they kept the crew, and I managed to, on automatic pilot, managed to get the Challenger back and come and crash land in the ocean. And it was some kind of weird story, right? But I wrote that back in 1987. Back when this 86, sorry, back when the Challenger exploded. So let's see, I wanted to take a look and see if we had anything for 1976. There's 79, 78, 74, 75, 76. All right, so we got some 1976 stuff here. 75, 76. These are Los Angeles Times front page copies. Caspian caviar makes a comeback. Oh yay. I can't live without my Caspian caviar. Yeah, MTV first came out August 1st, 1981. Documented. In a lot of places didn't get it right away because we just didn't have cable. There was just no way to get it, right? But yeah, it's August 1st, 1981. And I was in junior high at the time. Might as well jump. Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. The first year of MTV was just bizarre. But MTV changed rock and roll. It changed the cover, the face of rock and roll forever. There was no going back out after that. We got Hurricane Bell hits Long Island. This is August 10th, my sister's birthday, 1976. She would have been 6 years old. Army rape of Uganda University. Wow. Jeez. These are some great headlines here. A judge orders Diamond Lane project halted. Don't know what that is. Also convicted of hold-up, theft but no assault. Running mate rule proposed by Reagan aide. So this is 76. So we've got Jimmy Carter. Would have just been elected prior to this. Okay, what's this one here? Mao Zedong dies at 82. Aha. Ford wants to beat Carter. Team inspecting pipeline was misled, report says. Oh, the pipeline. Remember the oil pipeline? There's always some kind of fucking pipeline. There's always some kind of... It literally, nothing changes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And Generalissimo Francisco Franco is still dead. Totally. Carter is victor in a tight race. November. Oh, I see. So he's just become president here in 76. Let's see. And it looks like dog racing, farm labor issues appear defeated. Dog racing. There's something stupid. Any kind of where you bet on animals, use those animals. I'm not into beasts of burden. I'm not into animals. I'm not into riding horses. I'm not into using cows for shit. I'm just not into it, you know. I think everybody should be able to do what the fuck they want to do on this goddamn planet, and that includes the animals. You know, we're smart enough as people. We've come far enough as a race of humans on this planet that we don't need to eat animals anymore. We know that it takes more ground and more farming to feed those animals than those animals will feed us. Why do you think they're ripping out the rainforest in the Amazon to raise cows to feed us cheeseburgers? That's why. We don't need that anymore. We can move beyond that. Feed us the plants and let the animals run around, you know. And then we won't need as many animals, right? Just ridiculous. It's just, everything's just so out of whack. Everything's just so out of... Yeah, Allman Brothers. We were talking about that yesterday when you mentioned that he had the Allman Brothers out to the White House. That's pretty cool. And Willie Nelson getting high in the White House. Yeah, I never heard about that. That's awesome stuff. Now, when I lived down on the beach in Cardiff by the Sea in San Diego, and we lived there for the whole summer. While we were staying there, a tour bus came and stayed there for a few nights, right? And every night they would show up, or every day they would be there, and then in the night they would take off. But they were there. They were the roadie crew for the Willie Nelson tour that year in 70-something. It might have been 76. No, 78. Because the summer of 78, because we had our van by then. Check it out, man. Blast rips oil tanker. LA Harbor explosion. Wow. And this is all, the whole front page is about that. Oil prices are gonna, windows shattered, right? Bank robbers get busy at Christmas time. There's a nice thought. There's a nice thought. We're into 77 now, and here's Elvis Presley dies. There's the front paper there. Desert downpour. Here's something from just down the hill. Palm Springs floods because of the rain. Wow. trucker has owned demolition derby in Jackson, Tennessee. He drove over 3 police cars with his 18-wheeler. That's great. Cheers, buddy. I'm not advocating violence or anything, but that's just hilarious. Get out of my way. That's like that guy who took his tank and drove through San Diego and just ripped the fucking hell out of the place. That was hilarious. Or that guy who built a tank out of a frickin' dozer and then took it and just completely demolished a bunch of businesses in town that were fucking him over. That dude was serious about payback. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It was like being in an oven. LA survivor describes ordeal of fire, smoke after crash. Jumbo jet disaster. 550 die as 747s collide on runway. Oh, are you kidding me? 304 Californians aboard the Pan Am KLM plane crashed Canary Islands. Wow. It seems like we just hear about these things and then we just forget about them. Right? What I should probably do is dig up statistics on how many plane disasters there have been and how many people have been killed in planes, right? That's crazy. And that's a stupid... They collided on the runway, right? Which means that was avoidable. Totally avoidable, right? Yeah, good old 1977 here. I remember when Elvis died. I remember exactly where I was. I was swimming. We were staying at a motel, a motor lodge in Lake Elsinore, California, right on the lake. And it was just a long strip of property that went down to the lake from the main road. And there were little duplex type motel rooms all the way down halfway to the lake. And then before the lake there was a swimming pool and a pool house and a little rec room and then a couple of other little suites. And I remember being out there, and I had stepped on a dead bee and gotten stung, right? I couldn't swim real well, so I just loved to play in the water because I couldn't swim, so I would practice a lot and practice holding my breath and stuff. But I remember going in and going into the motel room and seeing my mother on the bed watching the TV and crying her eyes out, right? I'm like, what the hell's going on? And my dad's like, Elvis died. And I'm like, oh crap, because my mother is a huge Elvis fan. She used to make me do Elvis impressions and I hated it. And she was just blowing it. She was just, yeah, it was crazy. It was mad. It was sad. And she was really depressed, like, for a while after that. And I didn't get it, you know, I didn't get it. Yeah, he's this guy that you don't know, that you listen to on the radio and you watch on TV and stuff, but you don't know him, right? I don't get it. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, you know, you're going to miss that stuff, but really? Well, I am going to switch this here. Pope Paul dies at 80. Let's see, what do we got? Sadat recognizes Israel. Sphinx dethrones Ali. Wow. Let me go warm up my, I want to warm up my coffee. Be right back. hot coffee. There we go. Wow, man. It just looks like nothing ever changes. The names, the places, the people, the dollar amounts. But it all pretty much stays the same, Oh, here's one. Legislators take Hope, laugh at selves. Bob Hope with Governor Jerry Brown. I remember when Governor Jerry Brown was in office, and my father did not like him. He did not like Governor Jerry Brown. Just hated him. Used to talk shit on him all the time, right? And then he was gone, and my father's like, good riddance. And then didn't he come back just recently? We had Governor Jerry Brown again for a term. I don't know, I try not to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Kind of like me when Robin Williams and Anthony Bourdain died. I was weeping. Those are the only two people that have died. And that's weird that we do that we know nothing about these people other than what we're shown, and we form this connection to them, And yeah, I'll have to think about it to when somebody has passed away. Like Jerry Garcia, when he passed away, I wasn't even really a deadhead, right? And that one hit me hard. Mainly because of the connections that I had formed with people because of Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead. But I cried a little bit. I remember sitting in the car with my father, and we were working on copier machines. He was a copy repair guy. He was an office technician. And he would take me with him, and I learned how to fix office machinery just because it was easy for me, not because I enjoyed it. But we would go out on the weekends. We would go out and go to businesses and hand out flyers, and then we would go hang out somewhere and wait and have some lunch and get high and wait for somebody to call us in the area. And within an hour of passing out flyers, we would usually get a phone call, a beep on the beeper, and we would call people back, and they would want us to come over and fix. Oh my God, I'm so glad that I just got back from I found your flyer, and so we'd go work on copier machines, and we'd make really good money every weekend just going out and fixing up machines, and then build up this little clientele so that we would, after a while, we wouldn't have to pass out flyers. We would just get calls, or we would just drive through a town, stop off, and say, hey, we just wanted to see how your stuff was doing. Oh, I'm so glad you came by. There's a paper jam, So we'd, pull everything up. And when the key is that when you're working on office machinery, even though it's easy for you to fix, it's totally mad scientist stuff for them. So they don't know what the hell's going on. So you allow them that. You let them know that it is a big deal, and it is hard to deal with, and it could have gotten really, really bad. It's a good thing you called. You don't let them know that you just open the machine, flip this, pull this, and yank that, and it's fixed, right? You don't do that because they're like, well, you're going to charge me how much for that? So you go in there, you spend time with the machine, you talk to them, you baby it, you pamper it, you clean stuff, you fix things that, you clean the rollers to make sure that it doesn't happen, and you do all these things. You don't just go in and do this and go, hey, give me money. People hate that, and they don't ever want you back again. They'd rather fix it themselves. Well, I can do that. So we used to make really good money. My father went and fixed machines in 1991 at Ticketmaster so that he could get me 2 tickets to Metallica. That was cool. That was awesome stuff. All right, that would have been the second time that I saw Metallica. A girlfriend wanted to go, and she's like, I want to go. So Dad, get me tickets. And then we hitchhiked. We hitchhiked a 2-hour drive. so that we could go, and then hitchhiked home. Hey, whatever it takes, you know. Ha. Yeah, baby. I don't know. I can't honestly I can't remember crying over too many people, whether I knew them or not. There were very few people that I cried over their passing, right? My father, I think, most recently would have been the person most recently that I cried over when I found out that he passed away. It was totally expected. He had cancer. He was dying for months, and I had seen him 12 hours before he passed away, so I knew he was going to die, you know. But it was still pretty heavy. The first Load tour, great album. I don't remember that. I was never a Metallica fan. That was the thing. I enjoy Metallica. I listen to Metallica. I've seen them in concert twice, but I'm not a Metallica fan. That's weird, right? Yeah. Crying. The last time I cried was at the death of our dog, who was my father's dog. Before he passed away, after he passed away, she came to us. We have actually two of his dogs, and then she passed away. Big Bessie, she was a big dog, and we buried her right up. My wife said I was just out there with Bessie hanging out for a while, which was so cool to hear that. But yeah, I cried when she died because we had to have her put to sleep right here in our living room because she was dying of cancer and she wasn't eating. She hadn't eaten in a week, and it was a horrible thing. But that was the last time I really cried. Who am I a fan of? If we're talking old music, Electric Light Orchestra, Firefall, those are a couple that come to mind. I don't have any like favorites. I'm like a fan of the 70s and 80s. So more than likely, if it's in that era there, then I'm a fan of it. So like over there, I'm looking at Bob Seger's Silver Bullet, a couple of things from last week, Nick Gilder over there. Recently, I've gotten into, let me grab one of these here. Okay. So lately I've been getting into Tatsuro Yamashita that Joey introduced me to, and Joey sent me, gosh, he sent me almost like a couple dozen albums and paraphernalia and 45s and CDs and all kinds of stuff. But I've been getting into Tatsuro mainly because he came about in the 70s and 80s. So he's Japanese city pop, and it's just like the stuff that I heard in Los Angeles in the 80s in the clubs coming out of the bars and clubs there on Sunset. So, you know, thank you, Joey. And so there's that. That's kind of what I've been into recently. My daughter, I fell out of music in like the middle of the 90s. I just got tired of music altogether, and Jerry died, and that was pretty much all I had been into because I was burned out on the radio. And it was like, fuck it. And I just kind of walked away from music for about 10 years, right? And, well, about 15 years, 20 years. And then my daughter started getting into music about 10 years ago. You know, you get into junior high and you start finding cliques and music and stuff that you like. And so she started to introduce me to her stuff about 5 years ago. And her musical interests go back to 1995, which is exactly where my musical interests ceased, right? I just stopped listening to the radio in the car, would listen to old radio shows, right? And she has brought me back into music. And I've found out about stuff that I've missed, things in the 90s that I never knew was there because I was just gone from it, right? Stuff in the 2000s that I never knew. I never knew about Fall Out Boy. I never knew about the 1975. I never knew about, Motion City soundtrack, Pierce the Veil. There was so many different things that I've never heard of, which brought me to checking out new music that I would think I would like. So then I started getting into stuff like Lucas Nelson and Promise of the Real, Starcrawler, bands that I would see that would open for bands that we'd see music that she would like at like the Forum or something, and then we'd see an opener, and I'd be like, ooh, I got to check out that opener. So I'd go and I'd get the album for like the Lindas, or the Gully Boys, which is all girl band. I mean, just some great new stuff. But for the most part, all the new stuff that I listen to is because of my daughter. It's just, you've never heard of Lucas Nelson and Promise of the Real? He has since debanded. They went for 10 years, and so that band is no longer, and I saw them twice. But now he's touring, he's finally broken off and he's doing his solo thing. And he's going out and doing solo tour stuff, playing everywhere, playing with everybody. Yeah, she's not even 21. And she influences my musical interests all the time. All the time. It's really, really cool. And it's reciprocal. I mean, I totally influence her. She took us to see ELO. Wow. Her favorite band of my era. So we have that in common, that her favorite band of my era is my favorite band. It was great. We're both there at ELO, and I look over at her and her eyes are she's just bawling her eyes out, right? And so I know that it's something that she loves because, the Tatsuro. Joey, could you type in that for me, please? Tatsuro Yamashita. Great stuff. You can probably find a little bit on YouTube, but everything that Joey sends me, there's so much of it that you just can't get, right? And he gets it from Japan. And I'm going to do another day where I pull out everything, Tatsu, everything that Joey has sent me, because it's just an amazing collection of stuff. Thank you again, Joey. I mean, and the fact that he started doing music back in like the late 60s, early 70s, and his earliest stuff is like Beach Boys stuff. Oh, very funny, Joey. Very funny. And it's even more hilarious because Joey is not Japanese. And he like knows so much about that whole genre, city pop. And city pop is awesome music. Awesome music. But he's done so many different, thank you, Joey. He's done so many different types of music. It's just, it's fantastic. And he's very, very talented. And from what I understand, from what Joey said, when he first came out in Japan, most Japanese people did not appreciate his music whatsoever. And it wasn't until I think the 80s that he started doing a lot of commercial jingles in Japan, where I think is where people really started to see how complex he is, because he really is, really phenomenal stuff, So let's see, what else do we have going on in the old box today? Because it's 6 o'clock, so we want to get through stuff. I've got a bunch of magazines here. I'm going to get rid of this book here. And these are things that we'll get back into on other days. We'll pull these out again, and some different magazines and whatnot. Let me go ahead and throw some of these out here on the... oh, here we go. This is a good... Here we go. The bicentennial issue here of Life and Look magazine from 1968, the year I was born. Growing drug abuse, of course. Following 3 pounds of speed from Canada to a big U.S. dealer to young pushers to users on our streets. Wow, they're going to follow the whole chain of drugs. Isn't that cool? Ain't that something? So, 100 events that shaped America. Wow. And there's a price tag on here of $8. I didn't pay that. But I don't usually remove things. I just let it go, baby. Let it go. The growth of a nation. So, we won't look at the whole book here. But I love how these... Oh, I love these old drawings. Yeah. And this book seems to bounce around throughout different eras. Look at that. What is that, rum? Oh yeah, Puerto Rican rum. That's some rum, baby. Rum, rum, rum for your tum, tum, tum. The Traveling Wilburys. Oh, of course. I love the Traveling Wilburys. I was talking to my that was one thing that made me cry. I was in the car and I was talking to my wife or daughter about the last video where they're all sitting around in a room playing the song, and they go to Roy Orbison's part, and it's the rocking chair with his guitar in it. Oh, and I'm gonna get there again, and that's pretty heavy, you know. I would love to have. God, I'm actually getting teary-eyed. I would love to have seen the Traveling Wilburys. That would have been great to find them on tour. Yeah. All right, enough of that. Stop making me cry. Things that shaped America. Metropolitan, where the future is now. Sugarfoot Stomp. Oh yeah, the inventors. 10,000 muskets. Oh, airplanes. Yeah, so these are great. These are great magazines. The End of the World, the special parody issue, Harvard Lampoon parody Life. So this is an interesting one. I think this is a 68 as well, which would be kind of appropriate because I was born in 68. I don't see a... Usually you can find a date in here somewhere. And I am not seeing a date. And then sometimes there's a date on a page. 1968. All right. On January 10th, 1969, 48,600,000 people will receive Channel 1. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means, man. What the hell is this? And the beat goes on. And the beat goes on. Yada-da-da-dee. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I know. Traveling Wilburys, they never toured. It would have been great to find them on tour. It would have been awesome. But, you know, sometimes that shit never happens. All right, flying saucers, threat or menace? I don't know. I don't know. I'm middle of the road on that, too. I'm middle of the road on everything. Everything I'm middle of the road on. Because I don't know. You gotta, even if you sway me in one direction, I'm still just leaning in that direction. I'm not all the way. I'm not convinced. I never go 100%. You know, that's like telling people to have faith and believe. Well, yeah, then you get people who believe 100% that something is happening, something is real. And the world goes cuckoo with zealots and narcissists and people who are just told to believe something, and then they believe it hands down 100%. This is the way it is. You cannot sway me. I'm never going to change. And, oh man, that's a hard act to follow. That's something that should never be, right? Because you've got so many people out there who are just headed in the wrong direction. And you know you're never going to be able to turn them around. You know, convince them to just walk into the volcano then, because they ain't doing us any good with, you know, their hate and their misery and all the crap that they're trying to get everyone else to share in. Yeah. These are some weird looking flying saucers. They're probably not even real. They're probably not even real. These are probably things that somebody threw up in the air. Look, it's over a nice grassy field. Somebody threw it up in the air. And look, everything in the foreground here, everything down here is clear, and this is blurry, right? So if everything in the foreground is clear, and then this is blurry, well, then is this in the foreground? Is this up close to us, or is it far away? Because this thing here, this looks like it's close to us, and therefore it's out of focus. This one up here, this one here, this one looks out of focus, but also down here looks out of focus. So it's like they're in between, focusing in on one or the other. But at the same time, this looks like somebody threw it up. It literally looks like a pie pan with some crap glued underneath it. Right? It literally looks like a pie pan. Yeah. The guy sold this, the rights to this, for $6 million, the rights to this photo. Oh, 6 million rupees. Current exchange, $3.95. Wow. I just, you know, I don't know. I don't believe. I don't believe, but I don't disbelieve. I just don't know. I've seen crazy shit. I've seen stuff that I can't explain. But seeing isn't necessarily believing. Right? Even your own eyes can be lied to. It's just the way it is. That's crazy. That's just the way it is. Yeah. Well, I can't believe that tomorrow is the 4th of July. Tonight, I have to put together the video time machine for tomorrow. So, I'm going to be spending the day and the evening doing that, and hopefully getting it uploaded and quality control and copyright checked and all that by tonight, so that it's ready tomorrow. I've got a lot of elements so far. And every episode of the Video Time Machine, I just kind of wing it. You know, I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants and go with what feels good. So I'll grab some opening material and throw in the usual episode of this, and then some commercials. And then I'll just kind of hand pick commercials from different countries, but usually 70s and 80s. And then little short animated things, educational film things, little shorts, and then some TV stuff, some movie stuff, movie trailers. I love to do movie trailers. So a lot of this is going to be 1976 related, 4th of July related, America related, and by that I mean everywhere. I don't have any fireworks physically, but last night I was looking all over to find video of old fireworks shows. So I'm trying to find something from either 1976 or something from the 70s and 80s. Some kind of fireworks show. I found something from San Diego at the stadium Padres Stadium back in the 70s. But it's more a segment about the fireworks show than the fireworks itself. So I don't know. I may use that. I may create a fireworks show. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll just wing it. No, you can do it. You can do it, man. You can fucking do it, man. Yeah, that's my motto is I can do it. I just got to do it. I don't have any choice. When it gets to like Thursday and I don't have a video time machine done, I just have to do it. So, and I've been usually waiting till about Thursday to do the video time machine because somebody's always passing away, right? And now we've got Jimmy Swaggart, so I've got to look up some Jimmy Swaggart stuff to stick in there. There was one guy, who was this one guy? Got to find the right. My wife was like, "Why so many clipboards?" And I said, my stupid projects, right? I've got clipboards and little packs of paper clipped together. It's just, it makes me. Walter Scott Jr., Jimmy Swaggart, Rick Hurst, an actor. Walter Scott Jr., I believe, was a musician. So I've got to look up these guys, find their bios, find some pictures, and see if I can find any information or video with them. That's the hard part, is trying to find some kind of element with them in it, so that at the end of the video time machine, I can put a couple of things together with a few of the people who have passed, and then go into a moment of silence with their picture and dates and that kind of stuff. So waiting to the, till the end of the week is usually best for that. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I get an episode done, I go to the news, and there's another person that has passed away, like Richard Hurst. As soon as I saved the video, I turned on my other computer, and the news popped up, and there was another. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? And all I had to do was take a picture and a graphic with the name and date and stuff, and add that in there for 15 seconds, and that could have been done. So, yeah, exactly. It's not that he was so important, but because he is of that era. And I only do people who've passed away who were of that era. So somebody who had some kind of significance pre-90s. And then they make it into the video time machine. Because it's a time machine. So I'm not going to go... There's nothing in the video time machine that is post-80s. Nothing from the 90s or beyond. It's all the 80s or before. Because that's where my whole world is at. So there's that. But I hope I can find something with Jimmy Swaggart. I also like to find stuff off the top of my head that I just, oh wow, there's that guy, and then I'll look and I'll find something with that guy, and then throw him into the video time machine. Or we'll be talking about something, and I'll find like this UFO thing. So now I've got this little couple of minutes of UFO footage. So now I'll take that UFO footage and I'll stick it in the video time machine somewhere. There's a portion during commercials where sometimes I'll do a click and static, where you're clicking channels, right? Click, click, click. And I'll click to something, and then I'll click to something else, and something else will pop up. And I just might do that. Throw in a little bit of UFO footage, Or if I can dig up, the one bummer is that we were just talking about the Traveling Wilburys. Those are 90s, right? Isn't it? No, it's 80s. So if Traveling Wilburys is indeed in the 80s, then I'll try to find something that says Traveling Wilburys. An interview or something somewhere. A little snippet, and throw that in there. Find an old telephone commercial, because we were talking about the telephone. Video time machines are fun. All I've been thinking about is Sly Stone and Brian Wilson. Yeah, I did them on episode... Brian Wilson, episode 16 of the Video Time Machine, June 13th, 2025. On that episode, I actually had the first episode of the Mr. Bill Show from 1976, 75, 76, 70-something. And I couldn't get it. Saturday Night Live copyright said you can't use that, so I had to yank it off the episode. But in this episode is a TV show called Off the Wall, which is a weird TV show that didn't last too long. So, if you get a chance, watch episode 16. Anyway, at the end of that, I do a live version of Fire from Sly and the Family Stone, and a live version of, actually it's I Get Around by the Beach Boys, and it's a live version, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool, man. Like last one I did Lou Christie, Lightning Strikes, and it was American Bandstand. So while he wasn't on it, his music was on, and there were a bunch of teenagers dancing around. So I thought that was cool, so I used that one. So yeah, people pass, and usually when somebody passes, I'll try to find something from them and watch it. An actor passes away, I'll grab one of his movies, one of my favorite movies by that actor with that actor in it, and I'll watch it. And that's how I pay respect, right, is by grabbing something that they've done and appreciating it. So there you go. Doodly, man. Crazy, man. Crazy. But let's see, what do we got? It's 6:21 in the a.m. here. July 3rd. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. 4th of July. And the plan is to stay live all day long. Right? And I'm just going to keep the live feed open. I'm going to start it in the morning. And then just keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. I think I got enough crap here. I'm going to put a card table here, a 1980s fold-up card table from Sears. I'm going to park it here in front of me. And then I'm going to put things on it. Things that I can reach and grab and share on the camera here. And I'll put on a movie that'll last an hour or so, an educational film or a TV program or something, and then I'll load up this room here with stuff to talk about, and then we'll come back, we'll share a bunch of this stuff and play around with something, and then we'll watch another educational film or short or cartoon or TV show or something. And then I'll lose my voice. And at some point I've got this 90-minute thing here. Where is it? Here it is. I've got this 90-minute program. We Are the Guinea Pigs. And it's basically that, where we are the guinea pigs. It talks about what's happening to us via pollution and processed goods, right? It's from 1980, and it's 90 minutes long. So I just got the quality control check on it that it's got no copyright deal on it, so I can play it live. So that's going to probably be my nap video, is I will put that on and then really quickly run to the couch with my alarm set and lay on the couch and just try to get some rest, right? I might even go lay down in my bedroom and just try to get like an hour's nap, and then wake up and run in here and deal with the live stuff. I will probably have this one and then have something else tacked to the end of it, so that in case I don't make it back in here, something else will just start, right? So I'll do that and have it set up so that I'm either here doing this, or there's something playing, a movie, a film, something live. And I think that's gonna work. Before I was like, how am I gonna do a whole long telethon thing live with just me here. That's never going to work. I can go 5, 6, 7 hours of just blah, 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 blah. But after a while, I just, I'm going to have to do something else, So, yeah, it does sound like it's going to be kind of a party. So I'm going to kind of treat it that way. I've got this. It's in my box over there, but I've got this bicentennial cookbook that came out in 1975. And it's 200 years of cooking in America. And it starts with 1776. That's the page number. And the year. And it gives you a recipe and a housewife. And it's usually Mrs. Jack Robinson or something, right? It's. I think once I found a woman's name, Mrs. Ethel. But shut 'em up, Sam. Yeah, I'm just going to be hanging out. I wish I could do some drinking because I'd get a good buzz on. So I'm just going to settle for some really good buds. And, yeah, probably a few drinks. Probably coffee for the first couple of hours in the morning. And then I'll get off, put on something, have some breakfast, come back, do some sharing, put something on, get off, do something else, get something set up. And it's going to be like that all day. And it'll be really fun because I've got so much crap here to talk about and so much stuff planned and so much unplanned. Julia Child. I actually have a couple of Julia Child cookbooks. I do, from way back when. I have some Martha Stewart cookbooks from the 1980s, I think, 70s or 80s, and she's a looker back then. Hooey. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I've got some more stuff to try to load up today while I'm working on that video time machine. Yeah, come on over. The girls are going to make cheeseburgers on the grill and probably do hard lemonade or tequila sunrise or something like that, and maybe some beers. Yeah. We'll have some gummies and some dewage. There you go. So we got a cook coming over. Joey's coming over. Joey, stop off and get the beer or whatever it is you drink. I know he drinks root beer. But, yeah. I wish. We're going to do nothing. We're probably not going to do a damn thing. I don't know if my daughter's going out. But I know that my wife and I aren't going to do a damn thing. We're just going to stay. Like old Southern Living cookbooks. Oh, yeah. There's this one cookbook that we use. We've used it since we got married. And it's just this little paperback. And it's read Betty Crocker, I think. Better Homes and Gardens, Betty Crocker. It's just a little, and it's literally falling. It's in two pieces. It falls apart. It's got pages that come out. It's got a bunch of recipes stuffed into it. Oh yeah, I really wish we could get every time I try to set up a party, I'm a party of one. So I gave up trying to set up parties. I always try to get my daughter to throw a party. I'm like, hey, throw a party. We'll get you an Airbnb and you can hang out. You can invite all your friends and we'll get you drinks. And Mom will come over and make you food. She's like, okay, yeah, sure. And we do that a lot. But I can't. I think the last time we had a party, it was a dinner party. And we invited a family over, some friends of ours locally, to come over and hang out for a couple of hours and eat and relax and play a little music. And that was it. And I can't do any more than that because I'm not a popular guy, I guess. Nobody wants to hang out with me. And anybody that I do know that would want to hang out are real far away. So what am I going to do? Oh, woe is me, right? I got to heat up this. It's just more enjoyable when it's hot. Yeah. Dude. It looks like we're going to have to call it a normal day today. In about 15 minutes, 6:45 here on the Pacific West Coast. I got to wake up my wife, and then at 7:45, I've got to run her into town, and then come back here and work on that darn video time machine. So it looks like I'm going to be having to cut this off at exactly 7 o'clock today, which is kind of a bummer. But tomorrow we'll make up for it because I'll be here all freaking day. And that'll give me a chance to see other people who don't necessarily stop by because I'm on a different time than them. White Trash Cooking by Ernest Mickler. I love that because, you know, somebody's going to be watching this and see the comments and go, oh, that's totally cool, man. And have another experience and go off in another direction, you know. And I just love when I get comments that are like entertaining but informative, right? That's so cool. All right, hot coffee. Yeah, that's better. That's way better. Oh, Snoopy. Oh, Snoopy. There's Snoopy. All right, this bong in here has just been staring at me. Yeah, I'm the only one in my family here that smokes. My wife doesn't smoke. She's never smoked. She's never smoked cigarettes. She's never smoked marijuana. Just not her thing. And which is great because one pot smoker in the family is enough, right? I don't need any competition. No, it's just I shouldn't be smoking. My daughter, she don't smoke, she don't vape, she don't do any of that crap. I'll have a gummy on occasion, maybe a drink on occasion, but she doesn't do vices. I think her vice is mainly music. I think that's her vice. That and probably video games. So that's cool. And I'm not an influencer. I'm not someone that says, dude, you got to try this. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Because I got a lot of that growing up. I got a lot of that people trying to push their shit on me so that they don't feel like guilty or feel alone, right? Like those kids who would want to ditch school, but they didn't want to do it alone. They wanted to take someone else with them so they didn't feel alone in their wrongness, right? If that's possible. So, yeah, that was one of the lessons that my father taught me. You know, don't do something with somebody like that, because if they're doing something that they know they should be doing and they're bringing you along, it's because they don't want to be alone in their guilt. They don't want to get in trouble and then have to be alone in their trouble. You know, kids usually like to break the rules with somebody else around to help spread the blame, I guess. So I learned from that, you know, and the same thing in school. And I tried to tell my daughter that when she first got in like junior high, you know, is when people are doing stuff that you are unsure of and stuff that you don't want to do and things like that, you don't have to say, oh no, I don't do that. I don't, you know, you don't have to like ostracize yourself from your friends and stuff. If they want to do it, fine, that's fine. You can say, yeah, no, some other time. You know, or I already did today, or whatever you want to say. And after a while, they'll get the hint that you're just not into it. 25th anniversary edition. White Trash Cooking book. I'm lost. But, yeah. You can say no without saying no. You know, or without making yourself look all, you know, high and mighty. You know, and that's what I did when I was younger. I just said, nah, no, some other time. I can't today. And I would just, after a while, you know, they would just know. No, he don't smoke, or he don't do this, or he don't do that. Don't mess with him. You know, it's on Amazon. No, really, what is? 25th anniversary of what? I know it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws. And I think next week we'll talk about Jaws. like, yeah, baby. I'm on Amazon. I am. Wouldn't that be great? No, really. At some point, I'll break out the, I was going to say a typewriter, but the roadkill recipes, possums. Oh, yeah. That sounds interesting. That reminds me of Turtle Man. That guy who runs around and captures live animals. God, I can't remember the name of that show, but it's a hilarious show. Of course, it's all scripted and planned and overproduced and directed and stuff. But the character, what a character he is. He's probably dead. He probably got eaten by something. Yeah, took a turn for the worst. I don't know. You probably remember that show. You probably know what I'm talking about. Always had those weird calls. Yeah. Anywho, gosh, tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be fantastic, man. I mean, I've got so many educational films to watch. We won't get through all of them. I'm loading them all onto the channel so that you'll be able to see them if you want, if we don't get to them. But there are some that we are going to watch, especially the hour-long ones. Frontline, A Class Divided, Black American Odyssey, 1987, Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad, 1964, Of Black America, In Search of a Past, 68. These are all like an hour long. Legacy, The Year of the Bicentennial, in the 90-minute, we are the guinea pigs. So, and then there's a bunch that are like 25, 30 minutes long. Right? That's a lot of stuff to get through. I'm a classic. So we're not going to get through all of it live, but we're going to get through a lot of the bulk of it because I want to watch these hour-long ones for sure when we're, woo! Hey, Susie, what's up? What's up, girl? Snoop Dogg Cookbook is great. I actually saw Snoop Dogg in concert about, 5 years ago. Yeah, it was pretty cool. From crook to cook. That's great. As long as it's not a Snooki cookbook. I don't think I could even stomach to look at the cover. Totally, man. Totally. So it looks like the gang's all here. Oh, wait, we're still missing someone. Alright, so like I said, I've got to cut it off at about the regular time today at about 7 o'clock because I've got to get my wife up in a couple of minutes. And then I've got to run her into town. Since they started profiling brown-skinned people, I don't let her go out alone anymore. So I'll be getting off from here, eating some breakfast, taking her into town, coming back, working on Video Time Machine all day and all night, and trying to get it done and checked. And whoosh. It's going to probably be 2 hours or more. It's going to be a herky time machine because I got so many elements stacked up in the wings waiting. We're going to have the usual. I've got a great musical act, a black minstrel act from the 30s. I've got another episode of Read All About It, a kids show. I've got another episode of Betty Boop. Goon to spoon. Now you're just making this shit up. Yeah. So, and then I've got some great 1976 and bicentennial and American, Independence Day type stuff. It's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be fucking crazy. There's a few video time machines that are 2 hours. Usually I keep it about an hour to an hour and a half, but on special occasions I like to really pump it up, you know. So I've got a lot of elements saved up so far. Yeah, baby. I've got something here by Langston Hughes, a poet, black poet. So I'm going to try to get that uploaded today as well. I've got this little movie called JT, like Joshua Tree, and it's about a kid, a black kid in the ghetto and a cat. And I'm really anxious to see that because one of the actors in it, the kid, is one of the stars from the TV show The White Shadow. So that should be pretty cool. I'm going to try to get that on there just so that we've got something really cool to watch, you know. Yeah, the Constitutional Congress thing. We listened to that a little bit yesterday in the background, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it on this morning and listen to it because I didn't really get a chance to listen to it. So while I was getting ready this morning, I had that playing on my monitor. And my monitor is just my telephone sitting here with the show on it so that I can hear it and make sure that my show didn't die or something, right? Yeah, oh man, those horseflies, the sting of the horseflies. And when he talked about the sting of the horsefly, I actually felt the sting of the horsefly because I've been bitten to shit by horseflies before. They're nasty creatures, man, and they're just big and they're mean and they land on you and they just take a bite out of your ass. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, the dead presidents smacking horseflies. That's great. That's just great. That's good stuff there. Now that's American. Totally. So like I said, I've got that bicentennial cookbook, and I think we're going to look at that today and see if we can't find something to make out of that. The one thing I saw in there was Mexican cornbread, and it was like a cornbread that had jalapenos and cheese and stuff. And I thought, okay, well, that we can do. You know, let's make a cornbread, and I can make a mean chili. But I digress, because tomorrow we're making burgers. And I said, I'll put my teeth in for that shit. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. As far as drinks go, I'd love to sit and have a beer, you know. And if I eat a burger and a bowl of beans, I just might have a beer. So we've got to go out today. We do like monthly shopping, right? You're welcome. And then we do daily shopping, weekly shopping. We're always out and about doing stuff, taking care of vacation rentals and going to help people and clean and do this and that. So, and we don't have a huge refrigerator, so we can't just stock up on a million things for a week. So we usually shop like for a night or two. So we're always going out. I go through a half a gallon of milk every day to 2 days myself. I'm the only one that drinks it. I go through it about a half gallon in about a day, maybe a day and a half. So every 2 days I'm getting a half a gallon of milk. Every couple of days I'm grabbing a pack of homemade deli cooked biscuits, right? Really good buttermilk biscuits from Stater Brothers, the local grocery store. A pack of muffins that I have for dessert. So there's certain things that I need to get every couple of days. Soup, fresh made soup. You know what? Precious cargo on board. Yeah. Yeah, how was Boston? I got my shirt on. I don't know. I've never been to Boston, so I couldn't tell you. Of course, I don't know. I don't know. I've never been there. I bought this shirt on eBay. Oh, there's my alarm. I bought this shirt because it was a 1979 shirt, and it actually says Paul Revere down here, and Old North Church, and Boston Baked Beans, and USS Constitution, and down here it says 1979, copyright RFL Ambert, and then it's got a P.O. box and an address. And I thought, you know what, that is a cool shirt. And it was like 10 or 12 bucks or something. So, no, sometimes I do find good shirts at Goodwill and thrift shops. I found a great MTV shirt out here. I'm going to go wake up my wife, and I will be right back, and I will open this magazine here to this weird page here and let you look at that. I'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, she's working. She's up. And I am... I'm ready to start my day. The Serial Killer Cookbook is great. Ooh, that's something I might be interested in. At some point before I pass away, I'll probably let you all know where the bodies are buried. You never know, do you? You just never know. You never know who could be that crazy person. It could be somebody you went to school with. It could be your boss. It could be a coworker. It could be the cop that pulls you over. Anybody could be a serial killer. It could be a doctor. Imagine a doctor serial killer. You don't have to imagine because it's happened. A doctor serial killer who operates on people and then just decides to end their life because he's got that power, right? Man. Last Meals from Death Row. These are some great cookbooks. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. What do you want for your deathbed meal? You know, if I was in prison, last meal, it would probably be a give me a can of whoop ass, because that's what y'all is going to get. Ruckett Morton. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't. I do know, however, that God, tomorrow. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to stay on here. There's no way I'm going to stay on here late today because I got so much to do. LSD 25. Did you watch that on my channel? I think I've got a documentary called LSD 25 on my channel. So watch it. Check it out. It's awesome, dude. I've got a bunch of drug-related stuff from the 60s and 70s and 80s, and mainly because all of these educational films on my channel, they're like a part of me, right? The tiniest part or the biggest part, they're always a part of me. You know, what's a Rocket Morton? I don't know, man. Oh, let's see, what do we got here? Jet Age America asks, whether the caloric valve. I don't get it. Oh, Frank Zappa, Captain Beefheart. Ah, I see. I see. I haven't listened to a lot of Frank Zappa, but I do actually own a lot of Frank Zappa on an 8-track. I've got a bunch of Frank Zappa on 8-track. That's weird. I've got a couple of digital copies of some Frank Zappa stuff. A trout mask replica. See all of these cool references that I feel like a kid. I don't know what you're saying, guys. Yeah. Hear me now and think about me later. Put on my trout mask. Makes me think of hot tuna. Which makes me think of the Sparks. Which for some reason makes me think of well, now I can't remember what I was thinking of. Audubon, Kraftwerk, right? It's just my thoughts just dart, 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 dart. Fast and bulbous. I saw Fat and Fabulous. Captain Beefheart. I like to watch old interviews with Frank Zappa. That's probably what I've seen the most of and heard the most of is Frank Zappa talking about Frank Zappa and Frank Zappa music, talking about politics and the world and intelligence and stupidity. Yeah, I've got a lot of weird shit on 8-track. I'm going to do an 8-track day at some point, and I'll bring out a huge amount of... I can't bring it all out because it's just logistically too hard to move. Yeah, wow. Totally, you're tripping, man. But yeah, I just pick up the weirdest shit. It's like, oh, that's different. I'll get that. Or it'll just pop into my lap, and then I'll go through a box of stuff, and it's like, well, what the hell is this shit? And I'll look it up and go, well, I didn't know. I never knew. He was a genius, and he was a genius on all fronts. It's unfortunate that he left us too soon, because I think he never would have gotten into politics, per se, although he did get into being an advocate for stuff. I think he would have been really influential in trying to straighten out the ignorance of what's going on. But there are certain people that we had to lose in the 90s in order for things to have been able to change the way they did post-2001, and I won't even say it. I won't mention it. I won't even write in the numbers. I don't give credence to stuff that I just don't believe we've been told the truth about. So there you go. Yeah, I really like the Senate hearings when he's talking about music and censorship and all of that. And it's just, yeah, it gets ridiculous when you get all of these, when the Karens are running the world and they're running around screaming, how dare you, how dare you. Meanwhile, they're popping their pills, drinking their booze, smoking their cigarettes, and, you know, doing the crazy shit that they do. Yeah. You know, as long as whatever you're doing doesn't affect others, go right ahead. As long as it doesn't affect the world around you, it doesn't affect other people, it makes you happy, then go for it, you know. Strip yourself naked, cover yourself in green jello, and dance around your house. you know, with a plunger up your ass, trying to stick yourself to the ceiling. If that's what you want to do, it brings you pleasure, makes you happy, do it, right? As long as nobody else has to be involved against their will, then whatever. Right. Ban everything or nothing at all. You know, I like that. Yeah, you know, because you can't just decide, okay, well, we're going to control everybody and get everybody to do this and follow this. Isn't that what school is? Isn't that what public school is? You're already brainwashing everyone from day one. Right? Go Ted Nugent. So, you know, when we're adults, geez, we're given the opportunity to be free and to think for ourselves and to vote whatever we want. But that don't work because we're completely brainwashed and programmed and controlled and manipulated. You know, WWJD. What would Jack Nicholson do? He'd tell you to pick a piece of bread and hold it between your knees. That's what he would do. He'd say, hold it between your knees. Right? Hold the mail. Where do you want me to hold it? Hold it between your knees. What movie was that? Yeah, Jack Nicholson. What a kook. I like the couple of westerns that he did, right? He did one with Mary Steenburgen, and John Belushi was in it, right? That was a weird movie. She rescued Jack Nicholson from being hanged so that she could have somebody working on her farm or in her mine. But the only way she could rescue him was to marry him. So she marries Jack Nicholson. It's just this grubby, bum-looking cowboy dude. And he's got these friends that are outlaws. And one of them is that, you know, I think he's half Mexican. And he's John Belushi. And he's just this horrible, disgusting character. Yeah. I haven't seen all of Jack Nicholson's westerns. I don't know. What would Jack do? Yeah. Was that Chinatown? That's a good movie. And the Two Jakes. That's a great sequel. Those are great movies there. Well, it's getting just down to about that time. We've got a huge list of educational films for tomorrow to enjoy. And I'm going to be working on the video time machine here today, all day, all day and all night. And tomorrow, we are going to talk about Budman, the Budweiser mascot, and the bicentennial Budman. We're going to talk Apollo missions. We're going to talk old presidents. We're going to talk bicentennial. And we'll even look at some slides of me in a bicentennial parade. Yeah, we've got a lot to look at. So it'll be fun. I'm going to get together one last bong hit. One for the road, baby. One last swallow of coffee. One more bong hit. And something's got to give, baby. Once again, tomorrow we are going to be watching all kinds of cool stuff, and I'm going to try to get us an episode of a Smilin' Saturday Morning TV show from 1976, and I believe Robbie Rist is in that. So I'm going to try to boot that up as part of the video time machine. And then at some point tomorrow, we might just put on the video time machine and watch, because I can get a good nap in during that, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. It should be pretty awesome. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness don't include the right of experience. There you go. Exactly. My words exactly, Susie. So we're gonna take a look at the America that I grew up in, and our hopes and aspirations back then, where we wanted the country to go, what we thought we were doing right, and we won't see where we went wrong, but because that comes later. But at least we'll be able to enjoy a little time trip into the past, right? Because we need that. I think America needs that right now. We need to look back. The video time machine. That's the version. Yeah, it should be awesome. All right, people. It is just about that time for me to head on out of here. Gosh. Terrence McKenna. I don't know who that is, but I'll write it down. Terrence McKenna. Terrence McKenna. There we go. Because I don't know. Jack is 88 today. 88 keys. There you go. He's a full piano now. That's crazy, man. All right, I got to get out of here. I got to get my act together. I got to get in the... Thanks. Love you guys. Have a great day. I will be back tomorrow, so come hang out at some point. Come by and say hi, because I'll be here. I'll be here all day unless something weird happens. Peace, love, you know what to do. Be kind, spread peace and love, not bullshit. You know, take care of each other. Do something for yourself, but do something for somebody else too. Why? Because it makes you feel good, makes somebody else feel good, makes the world a better place, right? Most especially you guys, Susie, William, Joey, take care of yourselves, and be weird. If you ain't weird, nobody ain't gonna be weird for you. You gotta do it, baby. You gotta do it, baby. I will be here at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning Pacific Standard Time. I'll be here live, and I'll be here all day and all night. So stop by, people. Love you a lot. I can't say that enough. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourselves. Yeah, you too. Shine on, people. Shine on. It's hard to say goodbye. All right, you guys. Joey. Have a good sleep. And have fun on your time off. You crazy diamonds. Totally. Love you guys. Take care. Adios. Go on. Get out of here. Go on.